I had barely stepped out of my rental car suitcase, half dragged from the back seat, when I saw it, the scene that kicked off the worst war of my life. A teenage girl, maybe 16 or 17, standing smugly on my porch with my package in her hands. The package that held my wife's anniversary gift, a custom-made watch I'd spent weeks tracking and months saving for. And instead of handing it over, she smirked, shook it like it was a Christmas toy, and told me, "Finders keepers." That was the first domino. The last would fall months later when her mother, the almighty HOA president, was marched out of our community clubhouse in handcuffs. At first I didn't even know how to react. I thought maybe it was some mix-up. Maybe the package had been delivered to the wrong house and she was just bringing it over. But the second I saw that smug little grin stretch across her face, I knew. This wasn't a mistake. This was theft. I stepped closer, trying to keep calm, and said, "Excuse me. That's mine. It has my name on it." She clutched the box to her chest and with the kind of mockery only a spoiled kid can muster said, "My mom says we have to be careful about new people in the neighborhood. For all I know, you're the thief." That's when her mom arrived. Carol Albright. Perfect blonde helmet hair, overpriced yoga pants dripping with diamonds. The queen bee of the HOA. She sized up the situation in one sharp glance and without missing a beat said, "Of course my daughter took your box. She likes nice things. It's not her fault you people order from the same place as we do." My blood boiled. She had admitted it blatantly, admitted her daughter stole my property, and still managed to twist it into some entitled justification laced with racism. I tried to keep control. "Your daughter stole my anniversary gift. I want it back, and I want an apology." Carol laughed in my face. "You'll get neither. What you will get is a miserable life here if you keep this up. I'm the president of this HOA. I decide what goes on in this neighborhood. And if you keep harassing my daughter, I'll make sure you regret ever moving here." The smug little brat ran inside with the package slamming the door. My wife's gift was gone. I called the police. Big mistake. 10 minutes later, a patrol car pulled up and out stepped Officer Frank, a cop in his 40s with a mustache and the kind of easy smile you'd expect at a barbecue. He greeted Carol like an old friend. Ashley, getting into trouble again, he chuckled like her stealing packages was some cute neighborhood quirk. My heart sank. Carol had been telling the truth. He was her cop. I showed him the doorbell footage on my phone, clear as day, Ashley sneaking up and grabbing the box. He waved it away. Grainy. Could be anyone. Then, Carol turned on the theatrics painting me as the aggressive newcomer who yelled at her poor daughter. Frank sided with her in an instant. He didn't take the evidence. He didn't retrieve my package. Instead, he handed me a citation for causing a disturbance. I stood there in my own driveway humiliated while Carol smirked like she'd already won. That night, I told my wife everything. She was exhausted from her hospital shift, but the fire in her eyes said it all. "They are not getting away with this," she growled. The next morning, the retaliation began. A letter from the HOA slipped under our door. Our grass was a quarter-inch too high. Fine, $100. The next day, another letter. Our doorbell camera violated the bylaws. Fine, $250. A wreath on our door was out of season. A crack in the driveway structurally unsound. Every day, Carol weaponized the HOA against us. And the worst part, her daughter flaunted the stolen watch online with a caption, "Finders keepers." I started breaking. Every night I lay awake wondering if we should just sell the house and run. Maybe Carol was right. Maybe I should have just shut up. Was I making things worse? I felt powerless, like the system itself was stacked against me. Then, one evening, hope arrived in the form of George, my quiet neighbor who spent his days tending his hydrangeas. He told us Carol had fined him thousands for keeping the stone border his late wife had chosen for their garden. He'd had enough. When I showed him our petition to recall Carol as HOA president, he signed immediately and took more forms to share quietly with other neighbors. For the first time, I didn't feel alone. My wife dug deeper into the HOA bylaws. Buried in the fine print was a clause just 15% of homeowners could trigger a special vote to remove the board president. Meanwhile, I found a lawyer named Ben Young, hungry, the kind who lives for David versus Goliath fights. I handed him everything: the violation letters, the video screenshots of Ashley flaunting the watch. He whistled low and said, "We can sue them in small claims court, but the real bombshell is this: we subpoena Frank." Under oath, he can't dodge the truth. Ben suggested hiring a private investigator too, and what he found blew the whole thing open. Carol's brother owned the approved contractor company the HOA forced us to use for repairs, and Carol had been funneling thousands of HOA dollars into his pocket. Straight-up embezzlement. That was the motive. She wasn't just a bully, she was running a racket. By then, George had turned into our secret weapon. He whispered to other neighbors, passing them evidence of Carol's corruption. People who once avoided us started signing the recall petition in droves. Outrage spread like wildfire. Carol wasn't just abusing power, she was robbing everyone. The day of the small claims court hearing was surreal. Carol and Ashley strutted in without a lawyer, arrogant as ever. Officer Frank sat in the back, glaring at me. Ben calmly laid out our case: the receipts for the watch, the video footage, Ashley's social media posts. The judge's face hardened as the evidence stacked up. Carol tried to spin her story about holding the package for safekeeping. Ashley played the trembling innocent. Ben destroyed them with one question. If you were keeping it safe, why post a picture bragging about it online? Ashley froze. Then came Frank's turn. Under oath, Ben pressed him. What is your relationship to Mrs. Albright? Frank squirmed, mumbled about just neighbors until the judge demanded the truth. Finally sweating, he admitted, "We're family friends." The courtroom went dead silent. The judge leaned forward. You dismissed clear evidence of theft while protecting your friend. That is misconduct, and this is theft, plain and simple. Her ruling was brutal. Ashley was guilty of theft, ordered to pay damages, and referred to juvenile court. Frank's conduct was referred to internal affairs for perjury and corruption. Carol was implicated for aiding and abetting. For the first time, justice cracked through their armor. But the real reckoning came a week later at the special HOA meeting. The clubhouse overflowed with residents furious and waving copies of financial records. Carol tried to bluff, blaming clerical errors, but people weren't buying it anymore. One by one, neighbors stood and told their stories: fines for mailboxes, harassment over kids' play sets, bogus repairs. The dam broke. The vote wasn't even close. Carol was recalled in a landslide. And then, as if fate itself wanted to punctuate the moment, 2 sheriff's deputies walked in. They strode to the front, read Carol her rights, and led her out in handcuffs for embezzlement and fraud. The woman who had ruled the neighborhood with an iron fist, who laughed in my face as her daughter stole from me, was finally dragged out like the criminal she was. Standing there watching her taken away, I didn't feel joy. I didn't feel triumphant. I just felt relief. The war was over. The bully had lost. Sometimes the only way to stop a tyrant is to refuse to back down, because the moment you do, they've already won.